I'm excited to see you today. And I am really, really, really excited about today's mini workshop, which is all about, you see my Vanna White moment? It's all about LinkedIn Live and getting started. Why am I so excited about this? Many reasons, but the first one being is now everyone has access to LinkedIn Live. So spoiler alert, everyone has access to this. You have access to this. I have access to this. Everyone has access to this. So it's super exciting that now it's rolled out to everyone. And so what that meant is when it was rolled out to everyone, holy moly, was I getting inundated? Shelby was getting inundated. We were all getting inundated with all these emails of like, how do I start? What do I do? What's this button? Why is this red? So we were like, wait a second. We are repeating ourselves over and over and over again in these emails. We were getting DMs about it. I was getting on calls about it. And then Shelby and I were like, wait a second. A lot of people need to copy this homework. A lot of people are going to want to go live. So we were like, let's just turn this into a party. And Shelby and I are going to let you copy all of our homework that we have been doing over the last, I don't even know what. So Shelby normally doesn't come on, but she's always here. But I'm really excited. So I hope you will send lots of little like fun emojis, maybe like a confetti or a clap or even just an exclamation mark as I welcome Shelby on screen.
Hello.
Yay.
We're twinners.
Normally I see you, but we're twinning.
Yeah.
We're twinning today.
I'm always here, guys. I'm always here.
So he's here, just always, you don't see her. She's
Yes.
kind of like Santa Claus, right? Sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake, don't always catch him in the act. So that's kind of like our goal over here. Okay, how many of these have we done? I always forget.
Okay, so as far as coffee with Kim's, this is 74. But
74.
You've gone live more than that because you did the LinkedIn thing. So 75. 75.
It's true. Oh my gosh. Yay. Thank you guys for saying hi to Shelby.
Yes. Thank you.
She's really excited. Thanks, Kelly and Giacomo, for making her feel so at home here.
I was saying, like, I feel like I know everybody. So I'm like excited and a little nervous, but not really because we're all friends. Like, I feel like I've talked to most Coffee with Kim people. So
we're all a good group here. So after 74 of these, we have learned a thing or two, just a thing or two about what to do with these. So I'm really excited for us to jump in. And as Joseph said, big 75, go into what you can do to do your own really good LinkedIn Lives. So let's take them through, Shelby, our agenda. We always love a good agenda. So you met us, checkpoint Charlie, boom, met Kim and Shelby, great. We're going to talk about why going on LinkedIn Live is even important. We're going to talk about how to get started. We are going to talk about tips when you are live and some things to watch out for. And then we're going to touch on repurposing content. We won't go into that too deeply because there's like a million articles about that, but we are going to touch on it. And then we are going to do some Q&A. And so also, like, if you have Q&A throughout this, Jim or Ellen or Jen, if you guys have questions, like pop on in, like pop in the chat. I want us to feel like we are tackling questions as they are coming up. So don't feel like you have to leave them in the end. We always put Q&A there because sometimes people still like to leave them in the end. But, if you have a question, ask it because we are here for you. We want to help as much as we can and go over as much as we can in our short amount of time together. So I don't know about you, Shelby, but is there anything else or should we start rocking and rolling?
Let's go.
All right. So first and foremost, we wanted to get a sense from you guys. How right now do you connect with others online? Like what does that look like? Are you sending messages to people on LinkedIn? Are you going live on other platforms, maybe on Instagram? Are you kind of more of a lurker and you're like, I don't really talk to people online. I just like to look at other things that people do. Like, how are you connecting with others? Just like as a quick kind of temperature check, drop it in the chat so that we can get a sense so that we know, okay, it's a group that like does a lot of video, doesn't do a lot of video, kind of what camp are you falling into? So we'll take those into account.
Yes. And I know we have a lot of people who comment on other people's posts. And I just want to say that that's like huge as well. That's a great way to connect. There's some like major cheerleaders in the comment section. And I love that. So like
Yes.
Rachel.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel.
Exactly. Commenting on other people's posts, sending connection requests with notes. So good. Jen is like the queen of going. I always try to catch her Instagram lives. You do such good lives, Jen. Absolutely.
And she's going live tomorrow, everybody. Jen is going live tomorrow. So
exactly. I would challenge Jeff to say no lives anywhere yet. We missed one little word in there, which is the yet. I love this one. Sharing posts. We didn't touch on that. Sharing posts is huge. Such a good way to connect with others. I love Scott talking about interacting with your teams as much as possible. And Brendan with calling people. Ooh. I miss the phone. Don't you miss a good phone call? Those are always so good to get. So these are really great and super helpful for us because at the end of the day, when Shelby and I were really thinking about LinkedIn Lives, at the end of the day, it's really about forming connections with other people. It's about building trust. It's about, back in the good old days, looking a man in the eye, mano y mano, and doing some business deals. So it's that consistency, that authenticity, and the original content. Don't you think, Shelby?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all three of those are like what we hear over and over again with social media. Got to be consistent, got to be authentic, show up, all of that. So I think that's great. And I think live shows are the easiest way for you to do that, honestly.
Absolutely. And Steve is another one. If you want to see some good lives, go and check out the Daily Huddle. He is also a king of good lives for sure. And it looks like, it's so true. Just that is how people are. That's your first relationship. It's really coming online these days. So going live can cover all three of these things in a really unique and beautiful way because they're getting to see your face. They're getting to hear your voice. They're getting to hear how you speak, the topics that you talk about. So it sort of knocks off everything as opposed to, people say all the time, you do a regular post and your tone gets lost in the, is he joking? Is he mean? Is he serious? Video can be so helpful because then people know exactly what you're talking about in a way that you just maybe can't do totally with text posts.
Absolutely. And I think when you're live, you don't have to retake the video. I know that when I'm doing a video post, I'm record it. I'm I didn't like that. I'm going to record it again. There's none of that here as well.
There is none of that here. So we broke down today's mini workshop into 3 parts because there really are 3 parts about going live. There's the prep, what the heck you do before you go live. There's actually being live, and then the post. So what the heck are we doing after live? So we are going to talk about all 3 parts. I'm going to talk about the live part because that's what I do every week. Shelby's going to talk about the prep and the post. And again, thank you, Brendan, for your question. If you have questions like Brendan, please send them through so that we can answer them as we go. Brendan, your lives are available to everyone in the LinkedIn universe. So when you go live and someone lands on your profile, on your banner, it actually turns into the live. So if you go on Shelby's or my profile right now, you will see this live session on maybe not yours, maybe mine.
I think just yours, but
mine.
I feel like maybe Brendan is asking if there is the option to only go to a select target audience. You could do it into a LinkedIn page where you would have a different audience than your profile. That's just if that was the question, Brendan, I'm not sure, but that is an option. If you want to create a LinkedIn page, there's an option to stream to just a page. So,
but for the most part, You're
Pretty much.
streaming everybody.
Yeah. And people are going to see
party.
it. So.
It's the whole party.
Yeah.
So Shelby, take it away with us getting started.
Okay. So just to be completely transparent and let you in on behind the scenes. When we first started this, Kim, do you remember we spent so much time every week just on coffee with Kim? Like we were spending, I think it was close to like 10 hours a week on getting things prepared, like making sure all of the things were right, the post was right, the guest that we had on was right, all of that. So we spent so much time. So I'm glad you're here because this is like our cheat sheet, get you ahead a little bit. You can skip a couple hours of your life Googling things like we did so much.
Which is huge. It's a fast pass. It's a Disney fast pass, as I like to tell people. You can stand in the line. You can wait for It's a Small World. It's going to be a 45-minute wait. Or you can join the Kim and Shelby show on the fast pass line. Really, it's well worth it.
Yes.
To be
so Kim, you do such a beautiful job. I just have to give you a shout out because you do such a good job at making sure like things are good, like things are good to go. And so there's a lot of prep that goes into making that so. And we've come up with like ways to streamline that process now through lots of like lessons learned, hard lessons learned. So we're going to talk about that. But as far as like what you need, the essentials for making things work and you going live, you need to have creator mode turned on. So I know we've talked about this before here, but Kim has the turnoncreatormode.com. Thank you. And we're tag teaming this like presentation. It's a little weird when I'm not like anyway, so
Shelby's used to being in the driver's seat, and now I'm in the driver's seat, everybody. Shelby's the backseat driver today.
Yes, so there will be some backseat driving. Be aware. But turn on creator mode, and you do still have to do an application. You're going to be approved for it, spoiler alert, but you go to, I will drop a link actually to the exact website where you have to apply. But once you have creator mode turned on, just apply for it and you're going to get approved. You're going to be good to go. So that's number one. Number two, LinkedIn is a little bit different than say Instagram where you just hit go live. You have to have a third-party streaming tool. So there's a few options for those tools. Next slide, please.
And let's also address James. Don't be scared. That's always Shelby's message to me and everybody else. She always repeats that over and over. Don't be scared.
It's not scary. I mean, it is, but it doesn't have to be scary. So a platform to stream from. So we use StreamYard. And I'm pretty sure that's what Steve uses. And maybe even Jen. But a lot of people use StreamYard. I feel like it's super user-friendly. There's a little bit of a learning curve and there's some cool like features and things that you can add into it to make it more exciting. Like, well, our banner, but it's above me and above you. Yeah. There's some cool things that you can, there you go. There's some cool things that you can add into StreamYard to brand and like make your episode more personal, which I love, but you need a streaming tool. And I feel like StreamYard's the easiest.
And also, let's be honest, it's the cheapest.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but like the thought of spending money, especially when it's something that I'm kind of scared to do. If you're kind of scared to go live, or you're like, am I going to like this? I don't know. I think when you and I checked, this was probably about a year ago. I think one of the restream packages was like $1,900. That's a no. That's a no from me. Hard no.
StreamYard does have a free version. So if you're just like, let's just see if this is worth it, there is an option for you to just go live for free. They do have like their little logo duck in the corner, which is why I don't super love that option. But yeah, maybe you just want to try it. StreamYard has that option. You just want to try it.
So who doesn't love a good free trial run?
Exactly. And then third is the outline and topic, which this one is huge because, and we spend more time on this than you think. Kim you're great at like making the conversation be super fun and conversational. And truth be told, we go off of the outline. We steer off the outline a lot, but we have topics that we bring to like your promotional posts where it's like, here's the loose idea of what we're talking about. Here's like what you can expect when you join. And I think that's super critical in making sure your audience's time is respected. Because I hate joining live streams and it's like just this like conversation. Maybe somebody's eating something and you're just kind of like sitting there like,
we're drinking, but we're not eating.
Well, I was going to say, but having like an outline is not only good for you, for your audience, and even like a guest, if you're going to have a guest on the show, gives them an idea of what you guys are going to talk about. And I think that takes away so many nerves in the beginning because you're like, okay, I go live. I don't know what to talk about. Here's my outline. Here's the bullet points that we're going to hit. So
I would also say one other thing that this is helpful for, as I point above to it, if somebody joins late, sometimes we have people that are popping in like, Andrew just popped in because his call ran late. It helps them to know, what are these people talking about? Like, I hopped in and what's going on? So above Shelby, when you see, okay, the topic is LinkedIn Live, if you hop in late, you're like, okay, I at least have some semblance of knowledge of what they are talking about. So yet another reason why that is super important. But totally hear you, Shelby. That's probably the number one question that we get asked, or that you get asked a lot, is what do I talk about? I go live and now what?
And this one like makes me it makes me excited because when people say this, I'm like, you have so much to talk about. Like, what are you talking about? What do you talk about? Like, if you're posting on LinkedIn, you have things to talk about. So just talk live about them. So like number one, of course, is your expertise. What you are doing, what your work is, all of that is great. And people that's why they're going to join. Like, they follow your content and they're like, I would love to get more insight into what she or he does. And also, I want to just point out on this is great for people who get lots of like DMs of the same question. Because if you're constantly getting like, hey, how do you go live on LinkedIn, for instance? That's why we're here. You get to just talk to your whole audience live. People get to join, ask the questions. You can comment back instead of like this post that goes for days and days and days and you're commenting back and forth. Like, I love this platform and this way of producing content because it's so authentic and real and you're actually talking to your viewers. Let's see. Should you use several camera angles? What's your take on that?
I would say we just have the one camera in front, but as you see by me driving, I would say try to mix it up. Like, you can go, we're going back and forth. It's the two of us. Now it's the presentation. So I would say, and again, with the banners or even putting questions up, that's one thing that I think Shelby has done such a great job of when producing this show is, I'm not saying like, oh, there's spaceships flying around on screen, but like, you have banners, you have, questions that are popping up. It's not just like a flat, it's one person as a talking head all day long to the camera. That's just going to get so boring really, really quickly. So, and it kind of goes into, a point that we were going to talk about anyways, which is like attention span.
Yeah. And I want to just point out, if Steve's still here, when I joined their huddle for the first time, they called me out. Like, they were like, hey, Shelby. And they said that on screen. And I was instantly like, oh, I'm paying attention now. Before, I was like chasing my toddler around and trying to get breakfast started. And then they said my name and I was like, oh, like they're actually paying attention. So I think attention span also kind of like goes into engaging your audience and making sure this is a conversation, like talking to your comments, talking to people, because that's live, right? That's the whole point of doing this.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then this one kind of goes back to that whole outline topic thing. Make sure that you are bringing value to your audience. We all are busy. We all have only a limited amount of time every day. And when we join these conversations, it's because we obviously have put our lives on hold for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, to have the conversation, and it needs to be valuable. So
which is a great question by Rachel. Is it doable to go live by yourself? Well, Rachel, let's see, because next week Shelby is starting her holidays early, and your girl Kim is going to be in the driver's seat all by herself. So we will know next week how well that goes. But no, really, it actually is really easy. And I know, Shelby, you've talked about that a lot. How is it possible to go live by yourself? I would say, I'm curious to hear your answer, Shelby, but I think mine would be, it is possible if you prepare.
That's what I was going to say.
You can't wing it.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
I think that you need to make sure you're completely comfortable with the platform and you know, like the weird quirks and stuff, which why I think it's like, even if you just have like a college student or maybe your brother or somebody in the background that can just like, if things completely, which they won't, they won't. But if you come prepared, it's completely doable. I really think so. Just make sure you're aware of your outline, your topic, and how the platform runs before you do it.
And I would say, Rachel, now that I've done 74 of these and I've gotten very used to it, it is kind of like riding a bike. If you can have some training wheels for the first like 1 or 2 sessions, to Shelby's point of like another person or a friend or a sibling or something, like if you can kind of get 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 sessions under your belt, then all of a sudden, like you're kind of like, okay, I could do this on my own. Like I don't need the training wheels anymore. But I agree, if you could get like those first couple, that's going to be really helpful. So let's talk about actually going live. So you've prepped, you're ready, you have as much as you can. But now it's actually time to hit, it's time to hit go live. It's time to hit that red button that says everyone's going to be seeing what you are seeing. I would say this is when you really need to kind of watch out for a few things, which I like to call distractions. And we all face them. They're all there all the time. And you probably already know what these are because they're different for everybody. Everybody has like little different things that distract them. So I'm curious for you, drop it in the chat. When you are on like a Zoom call or you are trying to do anything on video, what are some things that distract you? And I'll go first for me. What really distracts me is any sort of like beeping and bopping, as I call it. So like anything that's flashing, like my Slack messages on screen, maybe Gmail is alerting me to a new mail, anything that's like flashing, to me, I get a little like squirrel. Like all of a sudden now I'm looking at the thing that's flashing on the computer. So I'm curious for you guys, James, this is such a good point. Put your phone on airplane mode. Holy heck, I have seen some lives where all of a sudden people's phones start ringing and the phone's across the room and it's like this awkward moment. So the cell phone is being huge. Keith sounds like the same as me with emails, those emails popping up. Charity, I don't have a dog, but Shelby does.
I do. And he's downstairs away from me right now.
Exactly, because that's distracting. It just kind of, it sends you off. Abby's puppy, we've definitely had some conference calls where Abby's puppy makes a surprise appearance.
Yes.
Anja, my friends on the live chat, always a distraction, on Zoom calls. I love Ellen's point about notifications off. That is huge. So it's good to kind of know what is going to distract you ahead of time so that you can get in front of that. So kind of like the movie theater, everybody silence your cell phones, figure out what is going to really bother you, because here's what happens if you don't do that. I'm going to show you an example of it right now. So whatever we just talked about, dog barking, emails flashing, you start to get like wandering eyes. Like all of a sudden, as you're live, people can see you start to go, huh, 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 and you start to look kind of like a cartoon character. Like your eyes start going and people can see it. And I'm going to do something very silly right now, but it's a good example. Right now, Shelby and I are going to look at you. We're going to look at the camera, and then we're going to look at the comments. And then we're going to look at you, and then we're going to look at the comment. Like you see, so then all of a sudden people can see that your eyeballs start to like go in all these different directions. So you really want to make sure to shut off whatever those things are going to distract you, so you don't have those wandering eyes. You don't have, things that are like popping up.
I love this from Donna.
Landscapers come as the webinars
every single time.
Every time. It's like they know. It's like they know. So just be careful with those wandering eyes. Try to relieve those distractions as much as you can. And then again, so that you can keep eye contact and focus on the people that you're talking to and not the alerts that you are getting on your computer. Because for better or for worse, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is you are live. You only get one shot. Like there's no redo. There's no let's record that again. My cell phone went off. The dogs barked. My Slack was going crazy. And the good news is you only get one shot. The good news is it is what it is. And your one take is your one take, and you don't have to overthink that, times a million. So yes. I would say as much as you can, just know you're in it. You're live. This is it.
I think that's like the magic though. Like I really believe this with my whole entire soul, is that like there's a lot of things that we second guess about ourselves. And I know that like when I'm doing a video of some kind and I have to watch myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, Shelby, like, why did you say it that way? Like, ugh. But sometimes those are the things that people love about you, because it's like you say weird, funny things, and like, it is what it is. Like you're just you, and your audience just sees you. And I think that's like where the magic comes in with live video, is that there's no overthinking, there's no redoing it. And that's a good thing. Don't take that as a bad thing. That's a great thing.
That's a good thing. And I love Keith's point here when we're talking about audience. How do you make sure that your whole audience sees? If you're really excited to share some top tips or tactics or strategies or a mini workshop like this. And to that, Keith, I would say you have to let them know. It's like a birthday party. If you call me the night before and you say, hey, come to my birthday party tomorrow, I already have plans. I already have plans tomorrow. But if you say, hey, my birthday party's in 2 weeks, can you mark it on your calendar? I'm like, no problem. Your birthday's in 2 weeks. I'll be there with the cupcakes. No, easy cheesy. So you just have to give people enough time. So, and I would say, and you're going to have to kind of promote it, if you will, or let people know multiple times, because there are times when they're not able to see the posts.
And that's where like the prep, I kind of cut you off, I'm sorry, but that's where this prep portion goes into this, is because if you have a guest on, I'm sure you guys have noticed, we have our guests promote the shows by giving them like super easy ways to promote it ahead of schedule. We plan all of this out so that it's not, like you said, the night before, people are like, oh yeah, there's that thing tomorrow. Like, it's coming. There's signs, and yeah.
Exactly. So you just have to let people know, give people some heads up. And also this point from Mike, live can be scary because yes, anything can happen. We've done now 75 of these. And I remember one in particular, I don't know if you remember this, Shelby, there was a lightning storm here in Austin and we lost power to the house. And my guest was kind of like left alone before I could like fumble and try to get back on. So yeah, there's going to be weird things that happen.
I honestly loved that one because of the way the guest had, no, I'm serious. I like, that's kind of mean, but like, I loved that we were able to see, I can't remember who it was, but we were able to see in real time how they deal with like these types of situations. Yeah. And she did great. She just like kept it going. It was wonderful. So yes, because you're live, things like this do happen, but it's not the end of the world. It really isn't.
it's really not the end of the world, but you just have to know like it's going to happen and you're live, and hopefully everybody understands that as well. Hopefully you have like a forgiving group, as much as you can. So
we have the best group. So
we have the best group. So I would say also like we're about to move into like the post phase, but there's so much more that we want to share. And I know it's already 12:30. So I just wanted to say, we have more tips. We can't jam it all in. Like I said, we've done 74 of these. We've learned a lot. We can't like jam it all into 45 minutes. I wish we could. It's just not possible. We're trying. So if you download 5 tips, which are on masteringlinkedinlive.com, Shelby will send you those tips. It will come from Shelby. So you just go to masteringlinkedinlive.com, scroll to the bottom, very, very bottom of the page, and put in your email, and those tips will come. But like, we're trying our best. We can't shove everything in. We're trying.
Can we just talk to James about this moment? I think that's hilarious. I'm so sorry, James. I get it.
It happens. Yes. It happens. You just have to like do your best.
Absolutely.
You have to do your best.
Okay.
Take it away with the post, Shelby.
Okay. The post is my favorite part of this, because like we mentioned, it's live. You get one shot. You aren't spending hours recording. So this is where all the hard work pays off. If you prep well, you show up well, now you have content for days. Like, you have little nuggets from the conversation that you can turn into posts, and you can just repurpose this content in so many ways. So I think the next slide says, let's see.
Yes. It says repurpose. Repurpose all you can.
Yes. So here are some ideas for repurposing your content. So you sit down for a conversation, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, you're going to have so much that you can expound on in that conversation. Ideas are just like a long text post on LinkedIn. So maybe something was said during the conversation. I also want to point out, you can use this when you join other people's conversations. So like, if you're here and you're like, oh, Kim made such a great point about such and such, this is also a great way to give your audience some material to repurpose as well. So long posts on LinkedIn or wherever it is that you want to post. Short video clips on StreamYard, you can just download your past episodes and you can cut them up so that they're like 1 to 2 minutes of the really good stuff. How can you keep, yes, to Giacomo's point of keeping followers engaged after the live stream? Yes. I also think that commenting back and forth with your followers, of course, is great. And I know, like, for us, I'm just behind the scenes. And I've made so many friends because of Coffee with Kim. Just because, not like in real life. Well, I guess I haven't met them in real life, but it feels like in real life friends. Like, because after the live stream, maybe there was a point that you weren't able to get to. Maybe there was a question that you weren't able to answer. Go back through your live stream and answer, like DM that person or reply back to that comment. And you're keeping the conversation going. And then they're much more likely to join in the future, of course. But like I'm saying, building that trust in that relationship is easy because they were there in the conversation with you. So, and then,
I think Joseph hits on a good point, like stay engaged.
Yeah.
Stay engaged. This is my personal opinion, and Shelby, I'll be curious what yours is. And no hate if this is how some people run their webinars. I just really don't like when I watch a webinar for 45 minutes and then they wait until the last 10 minutes for questions, because either A, I've already forgotten my question unless I wrote it down. And even if I wrote it down, then you're referencing something that person talked about 40 minutes ago. And they're like, oh yeah, wait, which slide was that the question on? It's like, I hate that.
And I think there's sometimes some miscommunication when it's at the end of the broadcast, because it's like, oh, maybe she's referring to this part or this part. And I think you do a great job of this, Kim. of like during the live stream, we kind of stop and we talk to the audience members. They're our friends, let's be honest. Audience members feels a little like too. But we talk to everybody as you're going through it. And it just, more questions are asked because of that. Because there's like question after question. It like jogs your memory or your creativity. You know what I'm trying to say. Creates more questions. So, and then the last one that I have on here is repurposing maybe a good quote that was said. I know that we've had several conversations where there's like a single sentence that was huge. So ask questions. Yeah.
Exactly. It's helpful when you can have those little gems pulled out and ready to go, and hopefully help people to see them again and use them again. So
Yes.
I also think what's really key is, and I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but Shelby, I'd love for you to kind of talk to people a little bit more about kind of like the bicycle training wheels. Like if somebody really wants to go live, what are some like training wheels that you would say, okay, you could do it yourself, but like here's one or two things that I would highly recommend besides watching this workshop, obviously.
Right. So I think outline for sure. Prepare, create your outline, but also there are some like weird things about StreamYard. My number one thing, this is in the tips also, but there's a delay and you need to be aware of that delay. This is my biggest, like it makes my heart hurt when I see people go live and it does. I'm always like, wait, don't move on, because somebody will ask a question, not see any comments, and they like just move on past the conversation.
There is a delay.
To Jim, you can stream to Facebook, YouTube. Is there a Twitter option? I feel like maybe there is. Maybe not.
Maybe. But again, to your point, all of these have delays.
Yes.
All of these have delays.
Yeah,
it's not going to be seamless.
Yes. But that for me is like the biggest training wheel, if you will, is just being aware of some of these weird quirks that happen on these platforms, because technology is great, but technology fails us on a regular basis. So, exactly. And not to put too much pressure on yourself when you go live. That's another thing. Yeah. Yes, to Jen.
Exactly. Jen knows the delay is real, and Abby knows like get comfortable in the silence. It's okay to give people a little breath. If you ask a question, it's okay to kind of say like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Like, you know,
and it's a little hard when it's just, you're just seeing yourself, or you're like, it's just you. It feels a little weird, but like, just trust your audience, trust the people that are joining, and just wait. Just wait a second.
And to Phoebe's point about, you know, how can you market better? I would say 1, the prep work, like we talked about ahead of time. And 2, going back to the points you just made, Shelby, these quotes, these short video clips, like those are also going to be great marketing and sales material for someone to say, hey, I want to pick up what they're putting down. You know, if you see a good quote, if you see something that looks interesting, you're like, hey, I thought that this point that Shelby made was really, you know, smart in her post. Now I see that she has a live, I'm going to go join it. So I would say when you think about those posts, that can drive to your lives as well.
And I think that when you say marketing, we're talking about bringing value to our audience, like we mentioned before. So really, like if you're showing up consistently and you're having like good conversations, that just kind of comes with the nature of creating good content, right, Kim? Would you agree?
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Terry's question, is there any way to do a practice session that's not viewable to the audience? Shelby?
Yes. So StreamYard is great for this. I think Jen might have mentioned it earlier. You can record a video just in StreamYard. So if you want to just like practice, but I don't recommend you post the recorded video. Like go, like actually do the live. Don't don't post the recorded video because you can tell, like you can always tell when somebody's not actually live. If they're not again engaging with the comments, then it's kind of like, something seems weird here. But you can just go through, like, just do a practice, just you record yourself. You don't even have to do it in StreamYard. Just practice.
And I will let you guys in on a little bit of behind the scenes to Giacomo's point about companies going live. We have tried to get guests on Coffee with Kim that will not go live for a multitude of reasons. I mean, do I even need to bring up like Janet Jackson's Super Bowl? Like some PR publicists or whoever will tell their clients, I absolutely do not want you going live. For anyone that is a fan of Marvel like me, you know that Tom Holland is like notorious for slipping like Marvel spoilers into his interviews that are live. And as you know, there's no take backs. There's no like take backsies. So a lot of publicists and people will be very nervous about going live because they're scared to share something that they, won't be able to take back or whatnot. So while I would love to see more companies and executives and leaders and, people go live, I also see it from the other end that if you don't, going back to Shelby's point of having a topic and having an outline, if you know that you're kind of prone to just blurt things out, you don't want to be spilling trade secrets.
Yeah.
Not good.
And I think Kelly makes a good point about trying to figure out the platform before you hit go live. I love this. So.
And I wanted to touch on this one point from Jimmy about audience size. I would reframe this question into the right people and the right audience. We have had sessions. I think Jessica, Chen, and I did a session. There were like 600 plus people joining, but were they necessarily like the exact people that we wanted to target? Not necessarily. They weren't necessarily
great conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. I would rather, it's kind of that age old like quantity versus quality question. I would rather have 40 to 50 super engaged people on a LinkedIn live than to have 150 people that are semi-engaged. That's just, it's not the same.
Yeah. And I also feel like you do have to be consistent in order to build this number. You have to give your audience an idea of when you're coming on. You have to prepare. You have to plan ahead. It's live, but you still have a lot of prep that goes into it. And that helps build your audience number as well.
Exactly. And again, there's only so much that you want to do, being consistent, whether that's going live, once a week is aggressive. I will admit that that's a lot. It's a big lift, but maybe it's once every quarter, that's easy. Or maybe even once a month. I think that if you have knowledge to share and people would benefit, you should absolutely consider going live. And again, if you can go live with like that Disney Fast Pass, I always tell people, you can spend, like Shelby and I were saying, 10 hours a week. I would say the first like 4 or 5 months were huge learning curves for us. You can do that. You can, just like you can stand in the Disney lines for an hour and a half. You can do that. I don't recommend it. I think that's like,
I wish I had those hours back, honestly.
I wish I
and the stress. I kept like the first couple times that we did this, I was like, I'm gonna hit the wrong button, like something's gonna go wrong. And I was like so freaked out because I hadn't seen somebody else do it. And I hadn't known, like I couldn't even YouTube a lot of the things that I was trying to figure out. Like, because Kim, like you are amazing and you have big ideas. You have really fun, like, oh, let's do this. And it's like, oh yeah, that would be really fun. Let me figure that out real quick.
How do I do that?
Yeah,
exactly. I feel like, and so I will call Shelby out because we are live. I have big ideas, and I would say she has done a brilliant job of like bringing those big ideas to life, getting that Disney Fast Pass, making that stuff happen, which is why, drum roll, I was like, Shelby, all of that knowledge cannot stay locked in your head. And also, I don't want 75 people sliding into your DMs, which happens, of people being like, can you do this for me? We have to scale you. We have to like scale a Shelby. And so that's kind of what we did.
Yes. Thank you for the push, Kim. I just have to say that because I am very much like, oh yeah, like maybe I can jump on a call with you real quick and try to run you through it. And then I noticed when I did that with people, I would get off the call and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even tell them about this and this and this. So I put it all together for you people. And I've watched it 5 million times to make sure that all of the information is there. But you can go to masteringlinkedinlive.com and I have two options for you. The first one is this do-it-yourself live course where I walk you through exactly what Kim and I do every single week. And also like the quick changes that we made to make our process quicker and more efficient every week. So now I'm not spending nearly as much time. I can sit down in the afternoon, get all of our content planned, get things squared away before we actually even like schedule anything. We kind of communicate. So I have put all of that information in this course for you guys and any of your friends. So.
Exactly. And what I think is so great, because Shelby is feeling like a little Christmas elf this week, we get a coupon code.
It's a deal.
It's a deal.
But yeah, for the next 24 hours for my Coffee with Kim people, just put in Coffee with Kim and you will get it discounted. So I think
exactly.
Yeah. So
type in that discount. Yes. And I would also say one of the things that is on there is like this premium package, which again, we kind of talked about it earlier, but I do think is really helpful. If you do kind of want that training wheel, if you want Shelby to come on for your first couple lives and, you know, kind of get you going, make you feel comfortable and make you feel like, okay, I got a couple things under my belt. Like now I can do it on my own. I think if you can have those training wheels, it makes a huge difference. Then when you're doing it by yourself, you're feeling a little more confident, feeling like, okay, like I got this, like no problem. I can do it.
Yeah. And I just want to put a disclaimer on this premium package. I don't know how long I can offer it. I'm just going to be completely transparent, is that going live there, it's a lot of work. And I want you to feel super successful, super comfortable, like Rachel, like you were saying, where you log on and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. So yeah, just know that premium package is available now, but I don't know how long I can help everybody.
Limited time only, everybody. Yes. But what you can get immediately right now are these 5 tips. So yes, you can immediately go to masteringlinkedinlive.com and get these 5 tips going straight to your inbox very, very easily. So I did want to, we got more questions coming in. I love your questions. If you have more questions, put them in the chat. But really, how has doing Coffee with Kim helped the overall business strategy? I mean, probably similar to what a lot of people say about podcasts. It's introduced me to a ton more people. I've been like collecting interesting humans in my Easter egg basket. I've been introduced to a ton of people. I think just the reach on LinkedIn is huge. I have people that have like, I've never seen you before, but I saw your LinkedIn live. So I think just, again, networking, expanding your digital networking, it can make a huge difference. And I would actually say, you know, Shelby, I think you've seen it too, just with you joining every week.
I was just going to say that, like, I'm behind the scenes, guys. Like, I'm not even on screen. And this past year, especially, so many opportunities have come my way. So many amazing people that I've met. And I just got a shout out to Jeff because he has been super helpful. Jeff, Jen, Giacomo, Kelly, like all of those people, Ellen, have been like real friends and like helpful to me and my business and my ideas. And like, it just creates a different kind of community than anywhere else because of that instant trust, the conversations in real time. There's no secrets. It's like a fun, real life interaction online. real life online,
I will say that one thing that we have noticed a lot when it comes to LinkedIn Lives is it is definitely more helpful when people follow you.
Yes.
LinkedIn did an update, I want to say it was probably like 2 or 3 months ago now, where if you are connected with someone on LinkedIn, like I'm connected with Ellen or I'm connected with, Kelly or whoever it is, and that person goes live, everyone who is connected to them will get a little notification in your little notification thing that says like, Steve is going live. Like everyone gets that. So I would say have people connect or follow, whatever word you want to use, friend, whatever word you want to use for it, but have people connect with you because then they will get the alert about you going live. So I would say that's another reason why at the end of our coffees every single week and at the beginning of our coffees every single week, I'm always pushing people to like connect, like as much as you can, like stay up to date, because that is how we can get information to you in a better way.
Yeah. And that's how, because I know for myself, sometimes I'm busy and I forget like, oh yeah, Jen was live, whatever. And then as soon as I hit that follow, I'm like, oh, here we go. Notification 30 minutes before, whatever it is. And I'm good to go. So let's see. Do you also help people with planning and post work, like clipping out content to repurpose? Not yet, Jill. I don't, honestly. I mean,
but we know people that do.
I was going to say, yep.
We can help
we
people.
Definitely know people that do. So, and just, you can message me. We can talk more. So
exactly. You can always message Shelby and she always responds because, to Savitri's point, she's got mad skills.
I love Savitri. She's amazing.
Mad skills and like a super good human to work with. But yeah, I will also say the good news about LinkedIn Live and the platform is LinkedIn, and Shelby knows because we talk to the LinkedIn team all the time. It's the platform is constantly being updated. Like it seems like every couple of weeks we're getting, we added this new feature or this thing is now happening. So I would also say, it's probably going to be one of those things that, be ready for updates, because at any given moment they might be changing some stuff around. I mean, even since we've been doing it, Shelby, how many updates do you think we've been through?
Oh my gosh, too many. Every single time I'm like, oh, okay. But a lot of them have been good. Like I really like that now they have that attend button where it adds to your calendar. I do think that that's valuable, but they don't have an option for recurring meetings the way that like we go live every Wednesday. They don't have that option. So there's some things that like good try, but not quite what we're looking for kind of things. Anyway, I don't know.
Exactly.
And then some things have been a little bit of a learning curve again. Like, yeah.
100%. So I have one last question for everybody, and I'm very curious to what everybody's answer is going to be. But what is stopping you from going live on LinkedIn? So we just did 45 minutes full of tips and tricks and resources and downloads. So I'm very curious now, knowing everything you already know, what is like that one thing that you're like, yeah, but still, like, Shelby, I didn't think about this.
And to Kim's point right here, can you go live with more? Yes, you can go live with more than 2 people. I think it's up to 10 on StreamYard. I don't know. Maybe different platforms have different rules for that, but you can. So just wanted to add that.
You definitely can. But I'm very curious what everyone's, what is everyone's reservation other than just, I guess, it's being live. Intimidated. It's live. I guess that's it. Thinking of excuses. I know everyone's got to think of excuses now. Like what? Oh, Scott. Okay, you guys, you heard it here first. Scott says absolutely nothing, which means, Scott, we want to see you go live. Shelby and I are going to be in your live when you go live. So you have to send us an invite or a link or something. But Scott has declared it publicly. Nothing is stopping him. He's ready to go.
Kelly, you got this. You got this.
Convincing our team that it's worth it, baby. That is huge. But hopefully, and we would be happy to share if you send us a message. We are happy to share some back-end metrics and stuff that we've seen. But just know that going live can definitely be something that helps boost your business.
It's
100%.
worth it. I promise. It's worth it.
100%. Oh, Mike, this is a good one. Shelby, what would you say to this? Creating an editorial hole that I'm not sure if I can fill weekly. So I would say take a smaller bite. Instead of weekly, maybe try monthly.
Yeah, I feel like monthly is a doable, good place to start. And then once you do it monthly, I bet you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can do this every 2 weeks. I can do this every week. Like, just do what you can. And even to your point of going live quarterly, just do it. I do think that you should be consistent so your audience can join, though. So decide on something that's doable in your life. But I think you can do it.
To Andrew's point, what's stopping him is he's a hothead. I will say this. We don't have verification of this, but we sort of know. If you decide to go live and maybe do things that are less than on the up and up, like maybe you're cursing or maybe you're talking like politics or like some like, racy subjects, if you will. No one knows how the LinkedIn algorithm works. If they do tell you they know how it works, then they're lying. We're all just kind of guessing. But we have seen that the algorithm sort of punishes or downplays content that is suggestive.
I think that they have a actual guideline document somewhere in LinkedIn. So you might want to check that out before you hit.
Exactly. And James has been going, which is amazing. And he has declared he's going weekly in 2022. James, you have to send Shelby and I a link. We want to be on your first weekly batch in January. So you have to promise that you'll send that to us.
Yes.
Because there are some great answers in here of what is holding them back.
Let's go, Jeff. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Let's do it. Well, I'm really excited. I would just like to say, if you are thinking about going live, highly recommend you download those tips. Go to masteringlinkedinlive.com. They are free. They are yours. They are from 75 of these sessions and everything we have learned in them. So absolutely check that out. But Shelby, thank you for being brave and coming on here and getting on the other side of the camera.
I was going to say, I do prefer behind the scenes, but for this community, for you, Kim, I'm here. Thank you for having me. I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much. Next week is our last gathering of 2021. Let's end on a high note. We are going to deep dive on goal setting so that we know that we are setting ourselves up for 2022 in the best way possible. So we will be right here next week, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern here on LinkedIn Live. And Shelby and I are sending you a big cheers. We hope you have a great rest of the week.